Hi, it's nice to see you again. Today I'm going to show you a variation on the Baskets and Blooms Big Shot die. Many of you will have seen these about the place. This die was made available by Stampin' Up in their catalogue last summer. And I'm going to show you today a variation on this little basket, which is this. It's like a little trough or tub. You're using the end pieces, let's call them. So I'll show you how to do that. The first thing you're going to do is cut out two of these end pieces. Now you'll notice when you cut it out that there is a flap with a score line on the left hand side here, and we don't need that when we're making our tub. So all you do is just using your paper trimmer, trim off that edge like this, easy. So it's going to look like this. Now you'll notice with this piece here that I've actually evened off the bottom, because when you use your die it does have an angle on the bottom there, and that's also very simple to do. You just place it into your paper trimmer, making sure that you're even either side. Trim the bottom off like this. Can you see that? So you have a nice even straight edge. And then the second thing that we do is make our own tabs with a scoring tool. I'm using the Score Pal here. What you're going to do with both of these pieces is score at 1/2 inch. I'm just going to use this at the right hand side of the Score Pal just because it's easier. 1, 2. So you're going to end up with 1/2 inch either side on both ends. And then you just score along the we've already scored. You just fold along the score lines like so. Starting to take shape already. And obviously this is going to be your end piece for your little basket. So we'll put those to one side. You're going to need a centre piece, which is going to measure 7.5 inches long by 5 inches wide. Now I'm going to show you a little trick here. I need to score at 2 3/4 inches, and many of you who have this Score Pal will know that there is no 3/4 inch mark. So I have cut myself a 1/4 inch strip. If you put the 1/4 inch here and you add 2 3/4 to it, you're going to get 3. So if we butt this piece of paper up against the 1/4 inch, then if we score along 3, that is actually going to be 2 3/4. And obviously you can do that with anything. If you need to score at say 5 7/8, you'd make a 1/8 strip, put it in there and score at 6. So we have our 2 3/4 inch scores on either side, and we're going to fold along there. Get rid of my Score Pal, and then we're just going to glue this together, and this is quite easy. I'm going to use the Tombow Mono adhesive. I really like this better than sticky strip. Obviously sticky strip is great, but sticky strip is terribly unforgiving. If this was sticky strip now and I stuck it down here and I was slightly off, once it's stuck, it's absolutely stuck solid. Whereas with this Tombow Mono, it does give you a little bit of wiggle room. Obviously it does, once it's glued down, it glues down as strong as sticky strip, I think. Just gives you a minute or two, and if you're a bit cack-handed like me, sometimes you need that. So we'll just hold it for a couple of seconds while it sticks. That's one side. And then we're just going to turn it over, do exactly the same thing on the other side. Now if you were going to make this basket and you wanted it to be longer, the measurement that has to remain constant is the 7.5 inch measurement, because it's 7.5 inches down and across and up the other side. So if you wanted, for instance, for this to be a nice little card caddy, you would just make this measurement, instead of 5 inches, make it to 5 3/4 or even 6 inches, depending on the size of your envelopes. And that's the basic shape of the little trough. It's very cute. So all that's left to do is to decorate it. And the way I've decorated it is very, very simple. I've again used some Stampin' Up dies. I'll show those to you. This is from a set of 4 tags, which is called Lots of Tags. And then these little flowers here are from a sizzlet called Floral Fusion. They're rather sweet. So what I've done is I've taken the flowers, layered them up, and I'm just going to punch a little hole in the centre like this and put a brad through. The brad that I'm actually using today is one of the corduroy brads. They come in lots and lots of different colours and they're really very, very nice. So if we just layer them up like this, all you need to do is punch a hole. Wiggle it around a bit because the legs on these little brads are quite wide. Spread the little legs on the back and there's your flower. And then with this one I have a sentiment stamp from the level 2 hostess set, which is called the Wings of Friendship. And all we're going to do is stamp the sentiment, and then we're going to use this wide oval punch, and as you'll see in a second, the wide oval punch sits inside that Big Shot die beautifully. Look at that. So let's adhere that. Like so. And then we're going to stick the piece of designer paper. I'll put the measurements for these up on the screen. If you're going to have your trough exactly the same size as mine, then your Pretty in Pink piece is going to be 4 3/4 by 2 1/2, and your designer paper is going to be 4 1/2 by 2 1/4. And we will, well, stick it to the basket. And you can see how it just fits onto the side of the basket like so. Okay? And now we're going to attach the label with dimensionals, which are here. So we'll put 2 dimensionals on the back. Let's get rid of one. 1, 2, and then I'll show you a little trick. With my little flower, I also want that to be up on a dimensional, but if we just stick the dimensional on one of these petals, we can have it off to the side. Look at that, perfect fit. We can have this off to the side, if I can ever get the back off. Now the dimensional piece you're going to stick down on here, which means that the flower will be at the right height. Do you see what I mean? So if we stick this here, then the flower is flush with our sentiment here. And then the only thing left to show you now is the trick with the handles. So what we're going to do is use the scallop circle. But the first thing we do is use a 1 inch. Woohoo! That was jumping for joy. Oh, it's Plaid Pony's birthday. It's celebrating for you, Michelle. Okay, so you just have your circle in the centre of the punch and punch. You know, if that, I knew that was going to jump out and it's gone on the floor. Oh, there it is. And I've left my ink pad open. So it would actually be just my luck if the whole thing jumped into the ink pad. But luckily today it didn't. And then all you do, put a little bit more of the glue around the side there and stick it down. You would do that for both sides. So the finished one actually does have either side, it has those, and also on the back it's plain. And obviously you can dress this up how you like, but it does make a really nice little gift basket of some sort, especially with Easter coming up. Imagine that filled with Cadbury's mini eggs. And with the thoughts of Cadbury's mini eggs in your mind, I shall leave you and might just have to go and buy some. Bye!